As I read Psalm 37, I'm amazed at its rich instruction and its incredible promises. In this psalm, we hear one voice, that is, the voice of David, teaching us about two ways, two times, and two responses. This voice is David's. He's speaking as an inspired prophet. Ultimately, we hear the voice of wisdom shining through this psalm as expressed in 1 Corinthians 1:30 as I show below. It is because, Paul says in this verse, because of him that you are in Christ Jesus, who has become for us wisdom from God, that is, our righteousness, holiness, and redemption. You can see that I've highlighted several interlocking themes in this psalm. On the one hand, we see many instructions that David gives to us directly. We see many promises about those who have surrendered to the king. We see many judgments that the Lord pronounces on those who attack God's people. We see the attacks themselves as the wicked launch their fight against those who align with the Messiah. And then we see many observations about how the righteous and the wicked live, the contrasting attitudes, the contrasting behaviors that they take. And so in this psalm, we see two ways to live in brief. That is the ways of the wicked and the ways of the righteous. They're described, as you can see, in terms of their behavior, their interaction, and their success. The wicked are unjust, the righteous love justice. But the main focus we can see is their interaction with each other. We see that the two times are present, both the immediate circumstances and the future. In the present, we see the wicked succeed and the righteous are being oppressed, but very soon, and though it may seem a long, long time away, it is not long in God's eyes. We see that as perhaps an echo of Psalm 2, that the covenant God laughs at the wicked. That is, that there is a future for the blameless, those who align themselves with the Messiah King. But in the end, in the promised land, is fulfilled the new heavens and the new earth. And we see this expressed as in Matthew 5:5, where Jesus says, "Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth." All this leads to the purpose of this teaching psalm, and that is that it warns the people of God against an attitude of anger, hate, vindictiveness that would be easy to fall prey to as we observe the apparent prosperity of the wicked in the present circumstances. But we see that even as this psalm instructs us about the ultimate outcomes, we're reminded of truths such as expressed in 1 Peter 2:23, when they, that is, those who oppose the Messiah, hurled their insults at him. He did not retaliate. When he suffered, he made no threats. Instead, he entrusted himself to him, that is God, who judges justly. So this is a psalm rich in instruction, rich in warning, rich in promise, rich in expectation. And we hear the voice of the wisest person who ever lived, Jesus Christ the righteous, who instructs us from this psalm to align ourselves with him, to trust in him, to dwell in the land, to know and be assured that God will provide and protect, and that ultimately the meek, that is, those who have surrendered to the king, the meek are the ones who will inherit the earth.